people like me. You need people like me so you can point your f***ing fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Welcome to the mother relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. We now know who it is. Haymon Choi, reigning WBA super featherweight champion. Haymon Choi. We now know who she's going to be fighting next month on the 19th. She's going to be fighting veteran fighter, journeywoman, Vanessa Bradford, who sports a professional record of 6 wins, 3 losses with 2 draws, no knockouts, having never been stopped.
Vanessa Bradford, she's been around a long time, fought a lot of familiar faces.
Familiar fighters Natasha Spence, Tiaria Brown, Michaela Mayer, and Alicia Baumgartner. That's right. Vanessa Bradford has shared the ring with both Michaela and Alicia, and now she's going to be fighting yet another reigning super featherweight champion in Haymon Choi. Not a great choice, if I do say so myself.
Listen, it's now been a year since Haymon Choi's last fight. She was last in action in September of last year against Brazil's own Simone de Silva.
This may end up being Haymon Choi's only fight all of this year. Haymon Choi, who's been averaging 1 fight a year for the last 4 years. You heard that right. 1 fight in 2018, 1 fight in 2019, 1 fight in 2020, 2021, and 1 fight this year.
This year makes 5.
5 years that Haymon Choi has been keeping this less than ambitious and sparse schedule of activity.
She just wants to enjoy that belt for as long as she can.
And because she's all the way over there, the other side of the world, in South Korea, she likely doesn't feel the same pressure that she would feel. Pressure to unify with Michaela, pressure to unify with Alicia. She likely doesn't feel that pressure because she's so far away from the action, all the way over there in the Far East.
You know, the sport is booming in America. It's booming in the United Kingdom.
Doors are opening. Opportunities, more opportunities than ever before are out there. That many more major platforms are airing female fights.
Glass ceilings are being broken.
Earlier this year, we got the biggest fight in women's boxing between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Later on next year, next month, we're going to see Shields versus Marshall, Mayer versus Baumgartner.
And what's Haymon Choi doing? Haymon Choi, this division's longest reigning champion, what's she doing?
I'll tell you what she's doing. She's keeping busy with Vanessa Bradford, of all people, for what's supposed to be a WIBA belt.
I guess that Haymon Choi does want to participate in a unification match. She just doesn't want to invite Michaela or Alicia to it.
How much longer will Haymon Choi hold the WBA title hostage, as it is an essential component to crowning an undisputed champion at this weight? Regardless of whether Michaela wins or Alicia wins, that will be the last puzzle piece. And when the time comes,
the fight between Alicia and Michaela is right around the corner.
It's going to be a little over 2-3 weeks. We are on the eve of that fight here and now. And when a victor emerges, regardless of who it is, they're going to put the squeeze on Haymon Choi. They're going to apply more pressure than usual for her to get in the ring and fight to keep what she's got or be disgraced.
Well, that's the other thing. Even if Michaela can't get her in the ring or Alicia can't get her in the ring, regardless of who wins,
she is in possession of the WBA title. And all it's going to take is for some young, unbeaten, ambitious fighter with decent backing to become her mandatory challenger. And then Haymon Choi won't have a choice.
It's fight or flight.
Not much has changed since I last saw the WBA's rank standings in the super featherweight division. Ramona Graf, Germany's own Ramona Graf, is still ranked at number 1. She is a WBA gold champion in the most...
She's in a pole position to become Haymon Choi's mandatory challenger, and ranked right behind her is fearsome puncher of Belgium, Delphine Persoon. You know what she's all about.
You know what she can do. Behind Delphine is Rima Ayadi. The way it looks, Haymon Choi might be better off cashing out against the winner of Mayer versus Baumgartner than waiting around for one of these girls to come along and put her in a situation that she don't want to be in.
Something's got to give.
Listen, in all likelihood, Haymon Choi will beat Vanessa Bradford on points next month. But what happens beyond that?
Even if she's managed to swerve, the other two champions at this weight, she can't hold that belt hostage forever.
Because what might end up happening is she might end up with some high-risk, low-reward opponent knocking on her door where she would have made more money taking her chances against either Michaela or Alicia.
There's no two ways about it. Something's got to give.
Something has to. I'm surprised that this has been going on this long. Now, maybe the previous set of contenders in the WBA's ranked standings, maybe they didn't have major financial backing from a well-to-do promotional outfit, but all it's going to take is for one fighter, just one fighter, one contender with a decent enough promoter to put the squeeze on the WBA.
Hyun-Mi Choi might find herself in a pickle.
Canelo being 31, he should fight against the other younger guys. Benavidez, Charlo. He fought against Caleb Plant. He fought against Billy Joe Saunders. Oh, scratch that. Demetrius Andrade to give anybody smoke. Boo-boo, anybody. Listen, I love Charlo. I got a lot of respect for Benavidez. But Andrade, this dude, listen, I want to see all of them fight. I know everybody wants to fight against Canelo because he went to Canelo press conference. Like, Andre tried to press him out for real. So it's just like, okay, Canelo, you're not fighting against Mexican fighters, but you're not fighting against black fighters either.
Well, neither is Demetrius Andrade. Neither is Jermall Charlo. Neither is David Benavidez.
Is there some kind of either-or situation? Is there some kind of quota that I'm not aware of?
Like, we need to get this going. So I want to see Canelo against Andrade, against Charlo, against Benavidez, and I want to see everybody. Charlo against Andrade, Benavidez against Andrade. Like, those are fights that the fans want to see. Those are fights that I want to see, and I'm a fan.
Mixing and matching names between David Benavidez and Jermall Charlo and Demetrius Andrade. Mixing and matching names between those three fighters would be ideal because they need high-profile fights. They need to fight in meaningful fights because none of them have fought in meaningful fights yet. Canelo Alvarez already has, several times.
Throughout 4 weight classes.
Jermall Charlo is the same age as Canelo Alvarez. He's not even half as accomplished as Canelo. Hasn't fought in half as many meaningful fights. Demetrius Andrade, he's older than the both of them. What's he, 34 going on 35?
It's always a woulda, coulda, shoulda with these guys. What the guy would do, what the guy could do.
This guy's older than Canelo. We shouldn't have to hypothesize about him, or anybody else for that matter, but that's how paper thin these guys' resumes are.
As a paying customer, as a consumer, I am sick and tired of people trying to blow smoke up my ass about these fighters. I'm watching the same careers that you are.
It's the same guys. Everybody's got a fucking problem with Canelo Alvarez fighting fighters from the United Kingdom or Caucasian fighters from the United States. But when it's Andre Ward,
let me tell you something. Andre Ward had a Hall of Fame career. I don't take that away from him.
But I don't take it away from Canelo Alvarez either. I don't downplay his opponents because he fought who he had to fight in order to become an undisputed champion, the same way that Andre Ward fought who he had to fight to become a unified champion at 2 weights.
There's a lot of double standards, there's a lot of hypocrites, and a lot of nitpicking in the sport of boxing, believe you me.
Same people that'll tell you that Andre Ward's a Hall of Fame fighter, which he is, and he's got this great resume. You know what's in that great resume? European fighters, Euro guys. And what's Canelo Alvarez been fighting? European fighters, Euro guys. So why is it okay for Andre Ward to fight guys from Europe, but not Canelo? Why is everybody super critical?
No, you know what the better question is? What the fuck did Demetrius Andrade do that you're so high on him? Who did he beat?
Who did Jermall Charlo beat? Who did David Benavidez beat? That we're supposed to put Canelo under a microscope. We're supposed to put the magnifying glass on him.
I am a paying customer. I am a consumer of boxing, and you're not gonna pull the wool over my eyes.
Talk up those guys just fine. And that might go over really well with the tribalists. Yeah, they might eat this stuff up, but I don't.
I am not a party to your personal preferences. I am not a party to your tribalism.
The fighter is not made a better fighter or a special fighter based on what they look like or where they're from. The only thing that determines which fighters are better than which other fighters is who they are fighting and what they have accomplished. And near as I can tell, David Benavidez, Jermall Charlo, Demetrius Andrade, those kind of guys are interchangeable for Canelo. None of them really stands out because none of them have really done anything.
So he can fight those guys or he cannot fight those guys. He can have a rematch with Dimitri or he can fight Zurdo Ramirez.
Or he He could take a year off and let those guys kill each other. Thin out the herd, because it's about time that Demetrius Andrade and Jermall Charlo and David Benavidez and all these outliers, all these guys that are just hanging around, waiting for the golden ticket, waiting to win the sweepstakes, it's about time that they started doing...
They need to do their part.
They do. If Canelo Alvarez does decide that he's not coming back until September, what the fuck is Demetrius gonna do? What's Jermall gonna do? What's David gonna do? What are they gonna do? They're gonna sit around and wait for him?
What if he decides he wants to take a year off or 2 years off, the way Floyd did a couple of years ago?
You know that I almost wish he would, so that these guys would get off their asses and fight somebody good? Fight in a meaningful fight, because these guys are the same age as Canelo Alvarez, and not a single one among them has a signature fight, a meaningful fight.
Demetrius is 2 years older than Canelo.
Canelo, who started his undisputed run, his undisputed campaign at super middleweight in late 2020. It's been a full year since then. It's been over a year. And in that time frame, what the hell has Jermall Charlo been doing? What's Demetrius been doing? What's David Benavidez been doing?
Canelo Alvarez has already fought 2 times this year. Same question.
What's Jermall been doing? What's Demetrius been doing?
Canelo made history in the super middleweight division, made history in the 4-belt era, becoming the super middleweight division's first undisputed champion.
He broke the indoor attendance record last year in this country. In a nutshell, what Canelo's been doing is breaking records. Now, what has Jermall been doing? What has Demetrius been doing that I'm supposed to give them priority over him, the guy who's working hard and getting it done?
What the fuck have they been doing?
What the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing? If Canelo Alvarez were to retire here today, he will have made fucking boatloads of cash, and will have a Hall of Fame career, a Hall of Fame resume. Is that what you guys got?
When your career's over, what are you going to have to show for it? What are people going to remember you for?
You know, the annals of boxing history are littered with fights that never happened, never took place. You know, Mike Tyson, he never got around to fighting George Foreman. Riddick Bowe, he never got around to fighting Lennox Lewis. Pound for pound poster child, Sugar Ray Robinson, he never got around to fighting Charlie Burley, but people don't remember Robinson for not fighting Charlie Burley. They remember him for the fights that he did have, the victories.
What are these guys going to be remembered for?
I don't know. Based on what they've been doing, I can't tell you. Maybe they don't want to be remembered, but you know what? They won't have any problems there because they're pretty forgettable, as it is. And finally, revealing insights into the contractual situation of one Gervonta Davis, who posted a tweet he has since deleted.
But not before I was able to grab a screenshot of it.
Tweet is from earlier this month on the 21st, and it reads, I asked Mayweather Promotions' lawyer, why would he write a fucked up contract like that for a kid? He said, if you were my kid, you wouldn't have to worry about that. Shaking my head. Another tweet from Gervonta Davis reads, I see through the bullshit.
What bullshit?
Leonard's bullshit? Floyd's bullshit? To whose bullshit was young Gervonta Davis referring to? Contracts and contractual situations, the contractual situations of these fighters is often a talking point here on the channel because depending on what's in the legalese and the fine print, that determines which fights fight fans can expect and which fights they can't expect. Gervonta Davis often being the subject of fights that don't happen, and PBC fighters often being the subject of
fights that don't happen or strange business decisions.
Fight fans themselves are often left wondering why. Why would Adam Kovnowski turn down a 7-figure payday and a shot at Anthony Joshua's 3 titles back when he had them? Why would he turn that down to fight some nobody on FS1? More recently, why would he reject a 7-figure offer to box Derek Chisora as the headlining fight, headlining the show? Why would he reject that to fight on an undercard against Ali Demirezin?
Well, if you pay attention to Gervonta Davis's tweet, you might get an idea. He's saying that the contract...
And he's not talking about someone else's contract. He's talking about his own contract and his own situation. That's why the lawyer told him, if you were my kid, you wouldn't have to worry about that. He's talking about his own contract, his own situation.
Gervonta Davis's tweet lends some insight into that.
So does a recent video that surfaced of young up-and-comer Floyd Schofield, who very recently spoke with the boxing voice, Nestor Gibbs.
Him and his dad talked about why they decided to sign with Golden Boy Promotions instead of the PBC.
All of them said contract.
Floyd, why you smiling? Why you smiling, Floyd? Because when you heard Al's name, you smiled, champ.
And that contract was whack.
Yeah.
It is what it is. The business is the paperwork.
Okay.
How whack? What does whack mean? Like what? It was like open-ended on the fights? Because it seemed like PBC fighters don't get to fight when they supposed to or want to. So was it that? Like, they couldn't guarantee you dates? What was whack? Was the money whack? What was whack?
The thing that's whack is the control. Most fighters don't realize they are independent contractors.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And so if you're 1099, for somebody to come take all your control, where they can own your name, they can own all that at the end of your thing, and then they have first dibs once the contract ends. You can't go to somebody else. You got to allow them to sit there and say, no, we're going to match this and do. No, that's too much control. We our own brand, our own company. So we gotta get in a contract where it's mutually okay. And they wasn't willing to negotiate a mutually okay contract. We're not going to give up our intellectual property, our image, our name. They no guarantee on how many fights we're going to get. Just whenever you decide to give us
no guarantee.
No, it's no guarantee.
Oof.
Floyd Schofield, young up-and-comer, 20 years old, sporting a professional record of 11 wins, no losses, no draws, 9 knockouts, from out of Texas. He very recently signed to Golden Boy Promotions.
Campaigning in the lightweight division. Lightweight, that's 135 pounds.
You'll notice that young fighters, young unbeaten up-and-comers like Floyd Schofield, they don't tend to wash up on PBC Island, Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, they didn't sign to the PBC either. Keyshawn Davis and his brother Kelvin.
Jared Anderson, all the good amateurs.
Not a single one of them ended up on PBC Island, and there's a reason for that. Floyd Schofield's father.
We told you why.
It's what's in the legalese. It's what's in the contract. The lack of control that the fighter has upon signing to the PBC. And, that's why it seems like those guys got lifetime contracts. Like they can't leave. They have no autonomy. In a situation where some other outfit on some other platform might have a boatload of cash for a PBC fighter, seems like the PBC fighter passes up that opportunity because they don't have the autonomy to capitalize. And that is rather unethical. Unless Al and the people at the PBC can match what you're being offered, offer you something comparable or something better, compensation.
Ideally, the fighter should be allowed to make money wherever there is money for them.
That don't appear to be the case when it comes to PBC fighters. And perhaps that's what Gervonta Davis was talking about in his cryptic tweet. When you connect the dots, it paints a very clear picture about what's going on over there.
And no, it's not the same for everybody or every outfit. It's not the same across the board.
Alicia Baumgartner's a matchroom fighter, but she's still set to make a lot of money on a boxer show. And the same is true in reverse when it comes to Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank Jr. signed to boxer, but his next fight is on a matchroom show.
PBC fighters ain't got that kind of autonomy.
I've long maintained that they sign over their autonomy. They sign over their rights. And it's not in their best interests to do so.
I've long maintained that the worst deal in boxing, the worst contracts, are PBC contracts.
And this would serve us as evidence of that.